Why did you decide to run for city council?
The reason I ran for city council is because of my family and friends. They gave me the encouragement to put my name forward. I wanted to get involved with the community and to see what I can do, being a councillor, to help to revitalize the community and to try to get the community to be tighter together and not a loose community, but a tight-knit community, along with the bands and the societies that are out there, that to try to draw them all to be a tight-knit group, not just Merritt, but also the bands around there.
And have you run for office before?
No, I have not.
And how does it feel being this your first time?
Interesting, exciting, and nervous about how I'll do.
And yeah, so tell me, what are some of the skills and experience that you believe that you've had in the past that will help you at city council?
Okay, we have all of us are from small towns, grew up in them, know them. Some of the skills I bring is my life experiences that I've had. I've been down to working in sawmills, working in the forest industry, working in logging, so I understand the challenges that people have working in there, and then also the challenges families have by someone working in that for their family. And when I was younger, I worked as a young father, and the mill I closed down, so that made an impact on me. And I think that it will help me out quite a bit with interacting with the forest industry community, from logging, sawmills to logging. And the other one I have is my ability to actually learn in what I do. One of the things I've done too was I went back to school and got my power engineering and started that. So being able to adapt to a totally new job site, like a job thing, having the knowledge of the challenges that are there. The other one is I got involved with business and management roles in different jobs that I've had, and one of them is working in a jail system as a maintenance supervisor, overseeing all the workers and all the contractors and all the new projects that are coming into that facility and other facilities. That was a big one for me to learn all about that. And another one I did was I got into business and learned about hazardous waste, which helped me to learn about working with the environment, the ministries of the federal and provincial ministries on that avenue of stuff, and the municipalities, because they all have a little bit to say about it. And then into recycling and trying to keep waste out of the landfill. And I did that, and every job I've had since I was very young, I've always been passionate and enjoyed them. But it was time for me to move on to a new one. And when I retired here a couple of years ago, or semi-retired, we ended up starting up a store in town. So my wife's dream was always to start up a little store, and so we did. And I think that was an interesting thing for us. And so then I decided that I wanted to move off to see how I can work with the community to better not to better, but to work with the community to come up with ideas together to revitalize the community.
And when did you move to Merritt?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, since this is your first time and you're still kind of new to the community, would you say that that's a disadvantage, an advantage, or both?
Well, I don't know if it's an advantage or not an advantage to in the length of time that I've been here. Mm-hmm. I've been here for a number of years, and we have grown to love this community, and going to the businesses here, and I've always been community orientated or family orientated, where I think that that is what will help me in this community. But the biggest one is the experience I bring to the community. It's really hard to do something if you don't have experience in it. You can have the education, which is great. I love education. I employed all my kids to go to school and do all that sort of stuff. But when you've done that, then you have to have life experience to help with your schooling. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's what I can bring to the community, is my life experience, my adaptability, and my love for this community. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're here for 5 generations or not. It's more of you have more of appreciation for it, but it's trying to have the pride of the community, trying to get the pride of the community. And I believe I am very proud of this community, and I know the potentials in this community, and I'd like to see it flourish, and I'd like to see the potentials come out to the way it was. I've talked to some people, and they're concerned about it because what happened, in the last 10 years has been going one way, and they would like to see it change around and be revitalized back to the way it was before. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I'd like to help with if I can.
What are some of the people's concerns when you talk to them?
There's actually a few of them, and they're pretty close together. One is bringing in business into town, finding people that'll come in town and employ people. And most of them has said some sort of industry that employs a fair amount of people. And I agree with that. But I also agree with at the same time that another factor is the infrastructure that we have. Trying to upgrade those infrastructures that we have and prepare for, because they haven't been touched, from what I understand, for a number of years. And they're lacking in a lot of areas, so that's a big concern. Mm-hmm. And another big concern is let me see. It would be the disasters that have happened in the past with the flooding and the fire. Mm-hmm. Trying to get the city prepared for in case something like that happens again, and trying to help with that, and to try to come up with ideas that we can implement as a community, as a city, but as a community all together. And that's something that affects everyone. That affects the Merritt residents, that affects the band residents for First Nations. It affects everyone. And we all need to kind of come together and to come up with things that will get us prepared in case some other disaster happens.
I mean, we do know that Merritt has an older population. What are some of the things that I guess that you would try and work in the city to make people, like the younger generation, to stay in town, or to not have the mentality like, oh, I'm just going to graduate high school, go to school somewhere else and not come back to town? Like, how would you get also the youth to get involved in politics a little bit?
Yeah, that to me is a lot, what you just said. One of the things is is revitalizing Merritt, is to bring in families, and one way to bring in families, is what you were saying, is to make it so that there is work here, and if there is no work here, then they have no choice but to leave or to go somewhere else where there is work. And so we need to do that, and we need to try to teach our young people that family is very important. Which, if you have a strong family, then you can have a strong community. It's really hard to get a strong community and a weak family. You need to have, I believe, a strong family, which will lead to a strong community, which will lead to a strong city and surrounding area. Yeah, that's what I'd say, is that we have to learn to work together to attract young families here and to keep them wanting to stay here, as you were saying.
Why do you think people should vote for you?
Why should people vote for me? I think people should vote for me because I bring a fair amount of knowledge and experience that I've gained over my lifetime, and my dedication to family and to community. What else? Family and community, and yeah, just basically my hold on a moment, I gotta think about that.
You can go back to that question if you want.
I'm just trying to think what I said to you already. Because I know I might even repeat myself here, but it's to try to have the older generation to help the younger generation realize that community and family is very important. And with us doing that, we'll be able to bring back the pride in the town, realizing that, family's great. Communities, if you can involve yourself in the community, that's even better, and get pride in the community, which I believe will bring back, will revitalize the community in the way it looks and the way that people react in it with each other.
And how would you deal with some controversial topics like raising a fee or raising taxes? Like, those are subjects that usually involved a lot of people in the community, and people are usually not happy when something is increasing.
I think that I myself don't like paying taxes, but sometimes there's a necessary evil for that. But the best way that I think of addressing that is to talk to the community, talk to the individuals, let them know why we feel that something that taxes might need to go up, or why we need to purchase this, or why we need to spend money on that, and get their input and get their feeling of what is they might have an idea that can stop us from spending money on something that we don't need to spend money on. City council is great. There's there's a fair amount of people that are there. They can all think of what they need to do and bring ideas to the table, but you need to bring the ideas of the people to the table as well. And that's where I find myself, is to working with different groups and different societies and businesses and stuff like that, and trying to bring their thoughts to it, and involving the community into decision making for raising taxes. Right? No one wants to raise taxes, but everyone wants to have a beautiful looking place. Right? So you have to talk to them, and you have to get an overall feeling of how that should be, and then let them know what the expenses are going to be, and see if there's any way that we can solve that without spending money, and do that, and not try to push it on our neighbor or somebody else in the community, right?
And what would you say are some of your top priorities if you do get elected?
At first, my top priority would be checking out to see what the community has been doing for the last 10 years plus. And because the council that is in there have only been in there for 2 years. So you can't just go back 2 years, you have to go back longer than that and see what the councils have already implemented, 5-10 years ago, because there's always a 5 and 10 year plan, right? So you want to be able to find out what they've already implemented, what they're looking at, and then see how far they're along with that, see if there's some improvements that could be to those implications that they have set out. A lot of people are talking about the same thing, and it's something that is on the city's mind and on the councilor's mind is how can we prepare Merritt for a flood, right? So now we have to go back and see how they're doing it, what they've implemented, and then also letting the public know what the city is doing with these things, like how they're going forward in these issues of how to fix the infrastructure, how we're preparing for a fire, how we're preparing for a flood, the cost that'll be there, and if there's anybody out there or in the public that would know a better way of doing it, and then bringing it forward to us so that we can actually look at it and see if that is something that the city is capable of doing, even, right?
And what would you say is the city councilor's job?
City council job is basically what I just said, is that looking at communicating with individuals, businesses, and bands, the indigenous groups that are around, trying to get them to all, no, not trying to get them, trying to listen to them with open ears and hearing what they have to say, and then bringing it back to the council, and then the council working alongside them, and I'm not talking councils, I'm talking the public, working alongside the public to try to what's the word I'm looking for? To overcome some of the issues, or some of the concerns of the public, or what they're bringing forward, trying to work with them to come up with ideas and solutions for the problems or for the situations that are arising in the city. Working with them, working with the city, working with individuals, and then one of the big things is communication, like communication between both parties, or between everyone. And the biggest part of communication is listening. And then the next part is going over what they said, and then coming back and responding to what they've said, and then trying to come up with a solution with them to fix the issue that is being discussed, right? Because the city council is, there's just a few of us, and if we're relying on ourselves to come up with the issue, then that could be a problem. But if we rely on, 14,000 different opinions, then there'll be a vast amount of them. But our job as a councillor is to take all those opinions and try to put them together so that we understand, so we can come up with a solution to solve whatever issues is being addressed.
And the last question that I have for you, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I just I'm just hoping that people will vote for me, get to know me, and find out what I'm about, and then come out and vote, because it's the voice of the people that will elect who they think is the best candidate for that position, and I think that I can bring a lot to the table.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Peter.